These are the worst losses of the Geelong Football Club since the turn of the century. Joining me is comedian, former host of The Beat Test, and Deputy Lord Mayor of Detroit, Dave Thornton.
Exactly. When Cameron Ling falls off the perch, it's going to be this guy. I feel like you, as a doggy supporter, you do these videos, especially the worst ones, just to crush the spirit of the other supporters.
Mate, you are so in arrears of the pain your club has caused mine over the past decade. But I do feel Geelong you've had a great 15, almost 20 years, but when you do have a loss, you lose so badly.
It feels like, because people say to me now, oh, you're a Geelong supporter, what a great run. And it's like, true, but through the formative years, from the grand final loss in 89, just all through the 90s, we got so close. Yep. And it would be, especially those Malcolm Blight teams, we knew we could put a score up, but geez, we could lose. We could do a really good job of that. And it still hung around. For the early 2000s, it wasn't great.
It's weird to think that 2007 grand final was sold as a miracle. Like, it was a drought-breaking, finally Geelong. Isn't it great that these little scamps have finally got it? And now we're just, can Geelong piss off?
Well, people forget in 07, it was like, keep the lid on.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing of just going, don't talk about it. And everyone says, oh, you're looking really good. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. And so when the losses were coming, it was, and I've heard a lot of supporters talk about this, you remember the losses a bit more than you do the wins because the scars are deeper.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's just a human thing. But speaking of the losses, let's get into them. You're going. Number 5.
Round 13, 2005. Brisbane were... Well, they just finished their dynasty, really.
Yeah,
they were still a strong side, but they were getting old. And we went up there to the Gabatoir and got absolutely pantsed.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And it was that very Geelong thing of when we lost in that period. Jeez, we lost.
Is this Bomber Thompson? Has he taken over yet?
Yeah, he was there.
Yep.
And it was all green shoots, as they say. So all of our guns were still very young.
Yep.
All the guys that we drafted that would go on to be gun players. But at the time, we didn't know. We thought, is this going to work out?
Yeah.
Because it really was, we hadn't been, like 1995 was the last grand final we were in, and that whole period for about 10 years, we were hoping to go well, but it wasn't looking good.
Yeah. So what happened in this game?
Well, it was just a shocker, really. It was one of those ones where it was, for a Geelong supporter, you're watching it going, is this going to be good? Is this going to look good at all? And it wasn't. Like the final score, there was, it was 80 points or something different. Ooh. Yeah, it wasn't nice. And, again, that Brisbane side, they were just loaded with big men too.
Yes.
Remember, from end to end, it was like, even their midfield seemed to be massive. And they were just destroying kids, throwing them every which way.
Yeah, you had Vossi and Black just picking up, started flossing with Gary Ablett Jr. Number 4.
Round 11, 2014, which this was a time we were doing all right.
Yeah.
But Sydney always has this way, they just knew how to beat us in the home and away season.
Ever since the I see it but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Sydney.
And, Nick Davis. But,
sorry.
This is what this does. When you talk about the losses, it just brings back memories that you never thought. But this was a pantsing. This was one of our all-time losses. It was, I think it's in, if not top 10, it could be top 5 losses our club has ever had. And
so
they just feel
148 to 38.
Yeah, yuck. Tippett had a field day. Franklin had a field day. Goods got 3, so all their guns were just firing away. Hawkins got 3, but I think 3 of, 5 or 6.
Yeah. And this was around the time that I remember you didn't make finals in 2015. And there was a big thing in the media of just saying, well, the Geelong dynasty's over. What a run. 3 premierships, so other grand final, just an amazing run. And then the next year, you're back in the prelims.
Yeah, we were too old for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Everyone just kept saying it, you're just too old. And I believed it. I was like, yeah, we've had a good run. Because conventional wisdom would always say, those sides just fall away and then we'll build up. And yeah, we just kind of kept blooding new players and trying to work it through. But a game like this, I don't know if that's any of those, a baptism of fire for some of the younger players. I think it was just a shellacking.
Yeah.
That I reckon Chris Scott went, cool, we're never talking about this again. But good on you, Sydney. I hope you enjoyed it.
Number 3.
2007, round 5, because in 2006, we were supposed to go really well, and we didn't.
Yes.
So in 2007, we thought, okay, we'll get our act, and then we'll get together on this one. You know, this is our season, and it wasn't looking good. And
Didn't start well. I remember even the Bulldogs beat you in round 1, and we were terrible that year.
Yeah, and this was the start, obviously, of 2007. This was at home at Cardinia Park against North Melbourne, who weirdly had a good year that year.
Yeah,
but
they
the year
made
before,
prelims.
Yeah, but the year before they weren't looking good. Adam Simpson had like 41 touches or something. He destroyed us.
Yeah.
And this game was the line in the sand game. This was the one where they went, what are we doing? And supposedly Corey Enright, who I've since met, we're not mates, but I've met him. Met him at a caravan park. How Geelong is that? And supposedly after the game, he stood up and was like, what are we doing? This is horrendous. And then we went on to, I think, smash Richmond the next round.
Yeah, I think so.
Cop that, Walito.
Number 2.
Round 14, 2009. For anyone, even if you're not a St Kilda fan or a Geelong fan, this is worth watching.
It's a huge game. Yeah.
Because this was the latest in a home and away season that two undefeated teams had met.
Yeah. It was so round 14, by some weird fixturing anomaly, you guys just didn't meet and you didn't lose until that round. And it was also a Sunday twilight game. So we had to wait the whole weekend to see it.
And honestly, the two sides, they're unbelievable.
Like, they were huge, yeah.
And it lived up to all expectations. It was seesawing the whole way, but unfortunately Saints got it. Michael Gardner had a blinder. But guess what? Who won at the end of that year?
Yeah, Thorno, I'm supposed to get you in here to talk about the worst losses, and you're here just going, oh, that one's bad. Got us a premiership. We beat the Saints later in the grand final. You're bucking the system, mate.
I'm not. You said home and away games. There's home and away games that we lost and we learnt from, and then we figured it out at the end of the season.
And so how did it feel when I think Nick Revolt kicked the winning goal?
Yeah, and off memory, yeah. I mean, like I said, it was a good game.
Were you there?
I watched it again recently. No, I wasn't there, but I did watch it again and was like, wow, from end to end, there's some unbelievable players on both sides. And so, like I said, if you're just a fan of footy, flick it on. It's great.
Oh, yeah. And the worst loss of the Geelong Football Club since the turn of the century, what is it?
Round 13, 2013. Brisbane, yet again. This was a heartbreaker. I think we were up by 52, if memory serves. And it was, maybe that was in the third or something, and then they just came charging back. And then Ash McGrath, on his 200th game, kicked a goal to beat us. It was brutal.
And you know, when a game has a nickname like the Miracle on Grass, that's really just got to rub it in for all time.
Which does sound like something you see when you smoke weed, if I've got to be honest. Miracle on Grass sounds like.
And this is the worst thing for Geelong fans. It wasn't this century and it's a final, but when you lose the 1989 grand final, because it's one goal and it's such a great game, you know that's replayed forever in the great grand final montages. So you're going to have to relive that horrible memory. This is one where, you know, Brisbane fans are going to dine out on it forever.
I think science actually says that when teams win, they actually get, like, not just an endorphin rush, I think it's like testosterone hit. Or estrogen, if it's AFLW, it goes up and the losers go down.
Oh, wow.
So you actually lose testosterone when you see games like this. Science says it, guys. That's how much it hurts.
That's why you're such a hulking man brute these days, thanks to the Cats' good run this century.
Is that it? If they go on the bottom 8, you'll just see a husk of a man.
So that's the list. Did Thorno get it right? Is there any worse losses that the Cats have had to endure this century? Let me know in the comments. And do all the things that YouTubers make you do, like subscribe, send to your friends. And see Thorno. He's touring the country with his show, which is called
Nothing's Unpossible.
Bloody funny. Do it.
So check it out. And be gentle on the comments, okay? Like, come on. No personal attacks. Don't be like that.